Hello, hello, hello. Welcome back, everyone. It is the closing table. It is Monday, May 8th, 2023. Whew, bro,
May 8th, brother. This is Daniel White. I cannot believe we are in May.
don't you know we were just talking about Christmas, what,
Yeah. And all the money that
5 months
we should
ago?
not have spent.
We were just talking about that 5 months ago. And we're about to be there again.
How many times have you said in your life, all right, I'm going to start buying a gift right now for everybody, right?
You need to start buying gifts right now. It'd probably be way cheaper. I mean, first of all, we got Mother's Day, which supposed to be last Sunday. Mother's Day was supposed to be this past Sunday.
No,
Like
it's coming Sunday.
No, they changed it on this. Mother's Day is normally like this past Sunday. They moved it a week.
That's a tough weekend. You'd have Cinco de Mayo, the Kentucky Derby, and Mother's Day, James. I'd go broke.
I've never been to Kentucky Derby.
You want to meet me there next year? Because we had a blast this weekend.
Oh, really?
Go. We just gambled and watched it from our house. It was amazing. And the tickets aren't that bad, man. They're not that bad.
Oh, okay.
I already have an idea. Some hat I'm wearing is going to be like, it's going to have some type of pink in it or something, my friend. You know?
Indeed. That's what's up. But yeah, I'm definitely okay with going to the Kentucky Derby and checking that out. It seems relaxing. It seems like a relaxing event. Unlike a basketball game or football game.
Yeah. I will tell you, there's big controversy going on around that horse racing. 7 horses they had to put down.
Wow.
Yeah. Just crazy. Like that was the topic of the conversation since Thursday to Saturday's race. 7 horses had to be put down.
They done steroid these damn horses up or something. What's going on?
No, I mean, I don't know if they got sick. I don't know if one broke. I think one may have broken their leg and stuff like that. And I mean, at that point, then they put him to sleep. I mean, it's crazy, man. They booted one guy out, one trainer completely out. And of course, he's like, I'm the scapegoat for everybody. It's a likely story. That's just what happens. But me and the wife were talking about it. I'm like, there's always some truth behind that. So maybe not all of it's real, but there's some truth behind it. But 7 horses, man, they're actually being looked at right now because of that number. I mean, that number is crazy for the Kentucky Derby. I think when they did the history check, only 3 or 4 horses over the last 20 years. So something happened.
Oh, okay. Got you. Well, we have to figure it out.
Yeah, man. But we gambled a little. It was fun. We had some little bonus money that we did. You put in 25, they give you 25, and so we spent $2, $4 a race, sat outside in nice, beautiful weather, and had a nice little evening on Saturday watching that.
Awesome. That's great to hear. I wanted to bring something up because you just mentioned it. Actually, you said Cinco de Mayo. What is that actually? Is that Mexican Independence Day, supposedly?
No, it is. They celebrate the victory of the Second French War. I think that's what it is. Now you're going to make me fact check myself.
I'm not quite sure
family
myself.
And friends got to fact check us.
If anybody want to fact check that, but
it's not an Independence Day. It's for winning victory over the French War or something like that. Yeah, I'm pretty darn sure.
The only reason I bring that up is because I've seen news articles over the past few days that stated that Hispanics don't actually celebrate Cinco de Mayo Day. Is not what Americans think it is. They find it racist that we celebrate that to that extent. I didn't know that. I just found that out like 2 days ago. I was
I take it as this, man. You know what? Everybody works their butts off and have a good time. We went out Friday with me, the wife, the daughter, and her boyfriend. Unfortunately, our son had to work, so wasn't able to hang out with us. But it was nice to see everybody out having a good time, smiling. They were dancing. Music was going. Hell of a lot better than guns.
That's definitely good. I'm trying to see, what is Cinco de Mayo? Mexican American with more than half of my family still in Mexico. This is the anniversary of more Mexican actually do celebrate. Again, I don't know. I've never celebrated it. I've never, I never understood what it
You've
was.
never gone out on Cinco de Mayo and had a margarita or something?
No, never. No.
James, I'm tired of you living in a shell, man.
Man, never living in a shell. It's just that I don't know. I mean, I come from a
You know what I'm
culture.
going to start doing? You know what I'm going to start doing on the holidays? You're going to get a holiday box the day before every holiday so you can celebrate whatever the holiday is. What's coming up next? Father's Day? I'm going to send you a Father's Day gift for Father's Day so you
You
can
know what,
celebrate,
man?
right?
If you're sending me a Father's Day gift, I'm sending you one as well, bro. I can't let you outdo me like that,
You
bro.
know, then we got 4th of July. Tell me you celebrate 4th of July. I need to send you a box full of fireworks.
I'm an American, bro. Of course, I celebrate our
Okay,
independence.
all right. You know.
I guess next you're gonna ask me if I celebrate Juneteenth as well. Like all these damn holidays, man. I mean, at the end of the day, I just think it's a money grab for everybody. It's a money grab for everybody. That's the reason why I don't do it as often. It's just a money grab. Me, my daughter, and my wife, we talked about the money grab yesterday. We talked about Christmas and how much I've seen my family and other people go into debt to try to buy gifts that nobody has today, but you still have the damn debt that you had. You know, you don't have the gifts that you had, but you have the debt that you had trying to get the stuff that people wanted for Christmas. So again, I just look at these things as money grabs. I would rather just celebrate life with my family whenever. You know, I don't feel like I want a holiday to make me say, hey, this is coming up. Let me set some time aside so we can go and be a family and enjoy each other. So, but yeah, overall though, man,
you just want some family time in a movie. Is that what you want?
family time in a movie, some popcorn, something good to eat, and we good to go. Like I like to keep it simple. But yeah, man.
Did you go see a movie this weekend, or did you sit at home and watch this King Charles thing?
No, me and Bernadette, we just watched the movie at the house. We didn't go to the movies. We just watched the movie at the house. Yeah.
Gotcha.
And she fell asleep like she always do. But that's why I got to take her out to the movies, because if not, she's going to fall asleep at the house.
It's funny, James, because I did the same thing this week. My wife fell asleep, and we were in a car, and I was like, man, that was a good ending to the movie. And she's like, yeah, what happened? I'm like, I don't know. And I just kind of created my own ending to the movie. And she's like, did that really happen? I'm like, yeah, it did.
Yeah, it is crazy. Women, they do not, especially at home, they would not stay up for the whole damn movie. So yeah, but welcome everyone. Welcome to the closing table. Monday, May 8th. We already here, 2023. Time is moving fast. So if time is moving fast, that means you're getting older quicker. So you have to start getting things in order. You have to prepare for the worst, people. And the worst is coming. I definitely see the worst coming. And the reason why I say the worst is coming and you need to be prepared for it is because, again, we see this every political cycle. Every political cycle we see things getting bad. Without a bad economy, without bad situations, guess what? Politicians have nothing to run on. What can they run on if there's nothing bad going on in the world? So again, the media pushes the horrible situations with the gun, the mass shooting. We're going to get into all of that. But first, again, if you're on YouTube, please hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and the notification bell if you haven't already. Drop a comment in the comment section once the show is over with. Let us know that you was here and that you enjoyed the show. But please jump in the comment section in the meantime. Let us know that you're here. And I look forward to having some conversation with you all. Me and Daniel, if you have any questions, please drop the questions in the comment section and we will get to them as soon as possible. But let's start this off like this, man. The coronation, since we're already talking about it, let's talk about the coronation and the crowning of King Charles III, right? Not King Arthur.
How much money was spent on that?
Hell, a lot. But what is a lot to a person that's worth $500 billion, bro?
Yeah.
But
the economy over there isn't doing fantastic.
I mean, I think that's everywhere, bro.
Show me one
economy that's doing great.
I want to know how much money was spent.
Because I know he inherited what, $500 billion worth of assets.
Yeah, I know it was like 845 million or something like that, like in assets like homes, houses, and stuff like that. Don't pay any taxes. Yeah. It was just transferred over.
How y'all feeling about the new king of England? Is anything going to change for England? Does it not affect you? Like, are we outdated to have this type of monarch, type of global leader or world leaders type economic leader? Like, should everybody be moving more towards a president type. Because I mean, it's if I like the monarch, I like that structure actually. I mean, I don't like. I mean, it
I
works.
love it over there, but $126 million.
Was spent for the coronation.
Yep.
Wow, what could that? You know how many England people or British people or UK people are pissed off that they spent all that money when they could have put that money back in the economy? Like that's wow, bro. That is super fucking wow. That $126 million.
Yeah. I mean, it's crazy. I have friends over there talking, you know what I'm saying? Yes. And, business is okay, but business was great years ago. It's not as great anymore. And $126 million, like, come on, man. Like that's a lot of money to be spent to. And again, it is a big deal. I'm not taking away from that. That it is huge over there, right? And it doesn't happen. I mean, when was the last time it happened?
Shit, how old was Queen Elizabeth?
60 years ago? I have no idea, dude.
Yeah, 80 years ago. I think she was 20
I
when
have no idea.
she was 20 when she became queen.
Yeah, but $126 million spent. I'm with you, James. That could have gone a hell of a lot longer for your roads, your infrastructure, whatever it is, your trading, your ports, whatever. God, that's a
lot of money, bro. And again, I don't know much about King Charles. I mean, again, I like Dolores just said, she wished Diana could have been a queen. I mean, I think Diana was Diana. She didn't want the life, just like her son. Her son don't want the life. He don't want
that's
it.
kind of crazy.
It's crazy, but it's like again, not everybody is set on the money or the monetary, side of it. And Bernadette was reading his book. She was reading his book. What's that boy name again? What's his name? King who? What is his name? Megan and what's his name?
What are we talking about?
Prince Harry.
Prince Harry.
Prince Harry. There we go. Thank you, B. Walker. Yeah, she was reading his book, and he sounded like a spoiled brat. I mean, maybe because that's how he grew up again, but it just sounds like the world of living in the royalty isn't what it's set up to be. It's
I mean, James, I'm sure it's not, right? I mean, like you know people that are huge celebrities, right?
Yes.
I mean, like, and you probably have real down to earth conversations. Me and everybody else on the outside that doesn't have that topic of conversation, we all just assume that it's just the lifestyle of the rich and the famous or whatever it is, right? Like it's all glamorous and it's champagne and roses, and I'm sure it's not, man.
No.
I mean, at some point, these people probably want to have their own lives and be able to walk to Walmart like us and not be pointed at or grabbed or touched.
Yeah, it's definitely stressful in so many ways when it comes to having that type of notoriety, having that type of money. But at the same time, I still feel like being grateful for the situation when there's so many people out here who can't afford to live that type of lifestyle, or to be able to fly in private jets, or always have the latest car, driving them, chauffeuring them, always having a closet full of fine clothing. I think you was rewarded that for a reason. Just like I think it come to a point where it becomes too much, where people like Kim Jong-un, who lives like he lives, and the rest of the other 80% of the country is in shambles, where they're eating air for food, where they're starving to death. I think that's when it becomes a problem. So
James, population right now, this is 2021 in the United Kingdom, 67 million people. So they could have given 1.8 billion. And again, I'm not saying it's a bad thing, because we as Americans do the same shit over here.
I think
we spend a lot more money than that. But I'm just saying, man, like this we're everybody's talking about a failing economy. The world's going to shit, but we're going to go and do this. Come on.
Yeah. I mean, because I think we spend more money than that on presidential elections.
Oh,
I think
I'm
like
sure we do.
yeah, like
I'm
just to run a fucking campaign. Like, but again, then it's like where does that money go? On flyers and commercials, like gas and buses to go from point A to point B. I mean,
oh
these
yeah.
I mean, these people are selling out arenas. They gotta,
I'm I'm gonna guess for presidential. I bet you it's billions.
yeah, I would agree. I think it's
I,
yeah.
I,
But again, unless
we're beyond. The U.S. is beyond millions.
yeah, and that's another good question too. That's another good statement. I mean, because at the end of the day, you have to look at it like if we're spending that type of money, inflation is a facade. It's a facade for that amount of money to be spent with no care. And we're going to get into that real quick because I really do want to get into that a little bit. We're going to be talking about the California reparation program and just kind of touching bases on that. But overall, there is a lot of things that's going on that we need to prepare for. Uh, Ashley said money is the problem for most, but if we had money, we have other problems. I agree
Sure,
with that. I totally agree with that.
sure.
Money doesn't solve problems. Money is a doorway to more problems or to solutions for problems that to or to come, depending on your mentality. I think a lot of people don't know how to use money properly. I think that's where we have to get the understanding is money isn't used properly for a lot of people. And once we can understand that, then I think we can start solving some problems that is beyond money. So
I mean, if you could take your money and put it into an account and then pay yourself something out of it and leave it in there, setting up your LLC, your S corp, C corp, whatever you want to do, um, you'd be better off. It just sits there and stays there in your company, in your business, whatever it is. You know, you don't touch it. Just pay yourself what you need to get by. To go out, have a dinner, pay all your bills, all of that stuff. But we don't. We take our money, it goes into our account, and then we just spend it. We're like, you know what? I get paid in 2 weeks. I'll replenish the account, and you do the same thing. It's crazy.
yeah, indeed, I totally agree. All right, so moving on to the next topic. Just real quick, I probably should right here. Warren Buffett. Warren Buffett recently just had a interview speaking about what's going on in the world. And again, this is a guy that I like to listen to. I think uh, he's one of those type of people who you may want to close your mouth and open your ears when he speaks. Warren Buffett is now 92 years old. He holds the annual Woodstock for Capitalists in shareholders meeting in Omaha, Nebraska, in his hometown every year to discuss his company performance and share his thoughts on timely economic issues. Just recently, he pretty much said that he really bashed the banks that failed this spring, First Republic, SVB, saying they should suffer and face punishment. But he also blamed the total crazy bank regulations and that incentivize bad behavior and very poor messaging around the debacles from politicians and the media. Buffett thinks the government was right to intervene to protect SVB depositors, claiming it would have been catastrophic otherwise. So,
I mean, the guy's worth 1.12 billion dollars, right?
I think it's
Like
more
when
like
he speak when
I
he
think he's
speaks
more worth like 20 billion. But I mean, yeah,
when he speaks, like we should we should be able to hear a pin drop, right?
yeah,
Let the guy speak. Like, we just talking about Queen Elizabeth. She was 20 years old. She was in it for 80 years, whatever it is. Like, this guy has been around and he has seen everything. Like, I don't know, how old is he? You said he's 92, 1951. What was the dollar? What was an average salary back in 1951? And now this guy, 70 years later, is billionaire. Come
yeah,
on, like, you got to listen to him.
yeah, and I totally agree. And I do believe that we should have protected depositors. But at the end of the conversation, I think it comes down to teaching everybody the right lessons versus you know just trying to save people. And I understand it would have been catastrophic if we didn't save the depositors. At the same time, I think we need to get back to a self-sustaining society where we're holding our own, individually. Stop letting the banks run our money. Stop letting the banks run and take control of majority of our finances. Put your money in more tangible assets, things that, again, things we speak about every week. Put your money in gold, silver, some, minerals, and some natural gases, things that you can actually sit on, invest in yourself and your business. Just stop putting your money into these banks. I don't like to give people my money. I don't trust them. I grew up in a society where I couldn't trust people with my money. I always felt like I was going to get robbed or scammed at some point. So I'm not saying I have millions of dollars tucked on my mattress, but I don't put all my money in the bank. It just doesn't make sense. I'm sorry, it doesn't.
No, and I definitely think probably now over the last year or so, James, maybe even a little bit longer than that, I think we've all hopefully become a little bit more diverse in where we put our money and what we purchase our money, right? I think you and I both have the plan right now that I definitely want to purchase more assets than I do want to carry liabilities, right? Even this weekend when the wife and I were sitting there and we were doing this little gambling and betting online, it was more for fun, but we didn't go out to dinner. We didn't spend $150 at a restaurant. You know what I'm saying? We spent 25, 30 or $30, got $30 in and enjoyed the evening, right? And so it was kind of a win-win. We had some fun. We didn't go out and spend $200 to go out to dinner and have a drink and stuff like that. So, I definitely think, for you and I, we've definitely, said, okay, we got to stop all the excessive spending habits and stuff like that and kind
Yes.
of buckle down.
I totally agree. Yes, we definitely, that's the forefront. B. Walker also said money may create new problems, but I'd rather have an abundance than scarcity. I totally agree with that. I definitely would rather have an abundance of funds and have an abundance of, or have access to an abundance of financing versus being able to, or having to, scrape and claw for, survival. And I was watching this video the other day, and it was this lady who was in front of Congress breaking down the cost of living in California. And after even living on the lowest end of like just doing whatever you can to have the cheapest everything, the apartment, the car, or not even having a new car, just having an old car that's paid off, having a cricket cell phone, eating noodles, having a 1-bedroom apartment, even making $17 an hour, she was still ending up in the red, even if she tried to manage her money. Which means I'm working to be broke, versus working to just, just to stay on top of things. I'm working to be broke. I'm working, literally slaving to be broke. And I think a lot of us are doing that in America because it's set up that way. It's set up in that way. And I guess I'm trying to ask, why do you think it's set up that way? Is it because us as Americans overall has created this lifestyle or this living structure that we're living above our means all the time? Like, what is that?
James, it's a fear factor for me with when I look at TV, and if you don't look beyond what is being presented to you as a hardworking American, right? I think as a hardworking American, everybody should have the dream to purchase a single family home, condo, townhome, mobile home, whatever it is that you want, right? So that you have something that is yours. But when you look at the TV and you read articles or emails that come through, all the banners are like, it's crashing, it's over with, the American dollar is diminishing, interest rates, the Fed's raising another one, Florida's going to go bankrupt, all of that stuff. I mean, it's scary as shit. So then people start getting the fear in their head that, okay, I'm making 15, 17 bucks. I get bonuses. Well, I can't do it. So I might as well just go to Walmart and go to the mall, go do whatever, because I'm never going to get a house. Like, I think the videos and in the news is scaring people not to do this. And that, in my opinion, is totally wrong. Like, you've got to look around it.
And I agree with what you're saying. But if I'm working to be in debt, what do I do to see? There's no room to save money. If I'm working to be in debt, there's no room to save money. How do I save money in an economy that's is set up for me to fail no matter how much I'm making right now. I mean, unless you're working for yourself and you're clocking, $5,000, $10,000 a week. I mean, especially in places like California, we'll talk more about them in a minute. But how do a person survive? Like, do you just decide to be homeless until you can, you know, until you can afford an actual place to live? Do you like?
All right, James. So I had this conversation yesterday with a buddy of mine, right? And we were sitting there talking, and he's like, "Yeah, I love what I do, but and he's my age, and he's like, I'm not. This isn't my forever job." And I'm like, "Okay, well, what are your plans, and what are you thinking about doing?" And he asked me, "Hey, if you go back when you started, how do you feel?" And I was like, "Look," I was like, "I can tell you right now, when I started the insurance business and then I started really dialing in with the partners and the real estate and all of that stuff, I've never ever worked so hard in my life, but I've never ever had so much enjoyment in my life." And on my insurance business, I can show you, I put $300 in that account, $300. And every single day I grinded and I continue to grind and I continue to grind. So if you have the drive, right? You're tired of working for somebody. I'm telling you, when you go out and you start your own business and you do it yourself, you don't have anyone to point fingers on. You can
That's true.
get out of debt, man. I'm telling you, you can. If you have the drive and the willingness to make shit happen, it can happen for anybody. It doesn't matter what your education level is. You can push forward and become great.
And I agree. And again, I can agree with everything you're saying. Realistically, on that basis, only a 1%, maybe even 10% of the people that hear this conversation can make it. If 90% of the people became entrepreneurs, who would work for who? Like
No, you're right,
would be
James. I
employed?
would rather fail 100 times knowing that, hey, I didn't quit and just accepted the norm. I don't want to accept the norm. I don't want to accept the norm. I want to be.
And I agree. It takes a special type of person. It takes a person. It takes a mentality of such to be able to become that. I don't expect the average person to just wake up one day who's struggling, who's barely getting by, and say, "I'm gonna start my own business. I'm going to." I mean, because at that point you're already dug a hole so deep in life. You're 30 plus years in, you got a 19-year-old kid. How do you just throw everything down and say and pick up something new? Because I think that's where we are in the world. I think the world itself is a cancerous structure because of how we've created it. We've created a structure in life that consumes and consumes, which becomes cancerous in our overall economic structure, which creates this evolving door. Because I was in that cycle as a person. I know people who was in that cycle. I know people who are continuing to be in that cycle. And how do they get out? Like, you can talk to them 1,000 times, like, you can do this, you can do this, but like you said, it takes a drive, it takes something else to get them out of it. But fear keeps them in. Fear is the number one thing that keeps them in. And how do you get over fear like that?
Absolutely, man. Like I said earlier, when I go on and I look at YouTube and I go look at all the streaming things, it's fear. It's fear. It's fear. It's fear. There's 10 times more fear than there is like pushing to be great and achieving this stuff. Like, it's crazy, man. My grandfather, a long, long time ago, when I was a young boy, and I can still remember it. He had a little spiff with one of his coworkers because I kept showing up late, and we were sitting on the little dock fishing while he was letting this room he was painting dry. And he's like, "Danny boy," he's like, "you're not going to be able to help everybody." He's like, "You're not going to be able to help everybody. You're not going to be able to make everybody happy." He's and so, there are just some people. I know you have friends. I can think of friends right now from where we grew up, and they're just, unfortunately, where they're at is where they're at, and they're probably not going to push to be great. It's sad, but you can't help everybody.
True. And I think now that we're speaking about our economy, one of the things that is causing a lot of this chaos in the world is these people who have reached their, again, I call it the 13th floor. You know, the 13th floor get to flying. You know, they get to doing crazy shit. They get to jumping out of windows. They get to bringing guns to work. You know, they get what in the words of going postal. You know, they go postal. And we speaking now about the 8 people in Texas that was recently shot down on Saturday. More gun violence. You know, more people are now becoming more violent because the cycle is economy gets bad, people get laid off, people get frustrated, people lose their jobs, people lose their homes, people pick up guns, people start robbing, people start stealing, people start killing. you know it's a cycle. If your kids were starving, what do? If you have no place to get food, what do? You rob, steal, and kill. You do what you have to do. It's a survival tactic, right? But
Yeah.
just speaking of this mass shooting that just recently happened in Texas. I'm sorry, let me pull it back up here. The mass shooting that happened in Texas. On Saturday, gunman fatally shot 8 people, including children, at an outlet mall in Dallas, suburb of Allen, before he was killed by a nearby police officer responding to an unrelated call. Authorities have identified the attacker as a 33-year-old Mauricio Garcia. The gunman used the AR-15 style rifle, who attacked in the attack and was wearing a tactical gear. President Biden said in a statement what motivated Garcia to open fire on innocent people shopping on Saturday afternoon isn't yet known, but police are investigating his connection to white supremacist ideology. According to law enforcement, Garcia had consumed and posted white supremacist and neo-Nazi content online. So, gun control. We talk about this all the time. Gun control is only talked about the year before a new presidential election. Without chaos, without trauma, we don't have anything to talk about. What do we run on if these things aren't in the news? What does a presidential candidate run on if these things aren't in the news? Not only speaking about gun control, we can also talk about this real quick. Race wars. Now we have a situation where Mr. Jordan Neely is becoming a martyr for the black people, or mental illness, something, but he's now becoming a martyr because he was killed by the hands of a military vet who may have been suffering some mental illness himself. Choked and killed this man on a train, and now we have to watch people march in the street. We have to see people destroy their own cities. We have to see people do so much chaos in the wake of a presidential election. And as B. Walker said, gun violence, LOL, is people violence. I agree. And a Mexican white supremacist, that is pretty unique. Again, I don't know. I haven't done a lot of research on it, but how do you feel about this gun violence situation, man, and this gun control?
Oh, geez, man, we're gonna piss off a lot of people. I'm gonna get a lot of text messages and a lot of phone calls from my buddies. But again, you said that this asshole went into the mall and had an AR-15. Is that again right? That's an assault rifle.
Yes, all right.
Multiple bullets. Why do we have I say this all the time, and I know people can argue it. Why do we even sell those guns? Don't tell me you're hunting with those guns, because you cannot shoot a deer or a hog or anything and eat it after those guns. It is absolutely ridiculous. And I'm sorry, that is my stance. That gun should not be allowed in anyone's hands. If we say that we are carrying guns to protect us from being robbed or thefts, people breaking into our house, you do not need an AR-15. By the chances you shoot an AR-15 inside your house, you're probably going to hit one of your family members as well. Or if you shoot it, you're going to shoot somebody else. Like, it is absolutely ridiculous. Now, you have a handgun, pistol, I get it, right? Like, I'm okay with that. You should be able to defend your territory. But these AR-15s are ridiculous, man. Obviously, and again, I know we're coming up to an election. I know how you feel, James, but there's no reason why we should be selling these guns to anybody on our streets. You're not shooting that gun in your backyard. It's not like you and I when we grew up with our uncles and our grandfathers where we could shoot our BB gun into a haystack, right? It's not that way. These guns destroy people. and they are just absolutely ridiculous, man. They should be taken off the shelves.
And I understand. I get what you're saying, but how is a gun that can shoot 8 people, kill them, is any different than someone wielding a machete and killing 8 people? Like, it's 8 people dying. Like, does the tool that kills the person matter as much as the person itself? You know?
Yeah, but if we already have an individual that's crazy, now we're giving them a bigger weapon to go out and do things, right?
I understand.
I would rather that. Oh, Jesus! I hope this doesn't go the wrong way. I would rather that person pull out a machete and be like, "Hey, I'm ready to do something." Me and you would be sitting in that mall and be like, "Dude, seriously?" You know what I'm saying? Like, now he pulls a gun, we're running. I mean, not that we're not running if he pulls a knife, but chances are he's not going to kill 8 people, injure 7 people with a machete. People are going to look at it. He starts swinging it. You're running. Then we bring our officers in that have guns, our police that have guns. I think that young man would probably put down that knife, or if he's just saying, "Hey, it's my time to go," then it's his time to go. Swing the sword, and you get shot.
And this is the reason why I say this, because again, as a country focused on guns, multiple people stabbed at a medical facility. What is the difference? Like I'm saying, how is guns like any different from any other weapon? Even though there's no guns are allowed in Europe, the violence in Europe is still as rampant, if not more rampant. You know, there's just as many people die on a daily basis from getting beat with an iron or a bat that as there are people getting shot in America with an assault rifle. Because I think we put too much emphasis on the tool used versus the actual crime that's being committed. Murder is being committed.
Murder. I mean, yes, James. There's mental issues, but the 2 and 2 don't go hand in hand. So unfortunately, we can't control every single household in the way that somebody is raised or what they go through as a young man, woman. And, say something happens or they're not raised properly. They don't have the right upcoming, they just got dealt with a lot of bad luck. It happens. But we can control that crazy ass gun. And that gun does not need to be on the street. No hunter. My grandfather hunts. He's probably got 30 rifles. You know what I'm saying? He does not have an AR-15. He's been hunting he's 85 years old. He's been hunting for I don't know, 80 years of his life. That gun is a problem.
It's a hard debate. The reason why I said it is because I love my guns. I got my AR-15 right here next to me. I got my AR-15 right next to me. I got my Draco, or my AK-47 right next to me. Am I supposed to give up my guns because some lunatic went out there and shot up somebody or shot up a group of people? Like, I'm not taking my guns and wilding out with them. Like, I don't understand why. This is the same thing with the Biden or the government taxing me to help other people pay for homes or pay for stuff that they can't afford, that they didn't work hard for, but they can get their hands on the same stuff I get my hands on, which means the problem isn't me or the citizens that are following the law. The problem is our government structure. Overall, it's the government structure and how they implement rules. Let's talk about this situation down in Mexico right now. All right, let's talk. And you're familiar with the Mexico situation.
Are we talking about the border?
Yeah, the border. Title 42.
I mean, 42. Yeah, it's a top 3 conversation right now going on. Yeah,
right. Title 42, a pandemic era policy that allowed U.S. authorities to quickly expel migrants, will expire on Thursday, creating an extremely challenging situation along the U.S. border. Right. All right. Secretary of Homeland Security Alejandro Mayorkas said that the U.S. sent 1,500 active duty troops to the border to handle what's expected to be an influx of migrants once Title 42 sunsets. Now, let's just put this in perspective real quick. 1,500 active soldiers are going to the border to do what? To with no guns, to say, hey, we just want you to turn around, go back home. We're not going to hurt you, because they're going there to protect the land, the infrastructure of America, right?
What do you mean they're not going with guns?
If our American soldiers didn't go with guns and they went down there with, hey, we just want you to turn around and go home, that'll play well. I think that'll play well, don't you think?
I
Because
mean, have you ever gotten into a fight with a Marine or so? They're pretty tactful, man. You know what I'm saying? Like,
I mean, I don't know.
No, I get what you're saying.
I don't know
James.
about these Marines. We got these new type of Marines these days. I mean, I don't know if you've been seeing.
Well, this is some old school, right? Like, I got a couple buddies that are Marines, and
yeah, you got the old school Marines.
We messed around a couple times, and I was like, oh yeah, I got you. Then I was like, oh shit, I don't.
But I'm just saying. Right. I'm just saying we can say guns are okay when they're in control of a military, or when the military or police officers have them. When 90% of the time it's a police officer who we complain about misusing a gun.
James, I'm pulling a card from your deck right now. Amazing. We have border problems again. Election time is coming up. Just,
I don't think we have border problems.
Now we got border. We got gun issues. We got border issues.
I don't think
we have growing up.
I don't think we have a border problem. I think we have a president who don't care about our border. I mean, there was a policy set in place by a president to stop this highly active migration of immigrants coming over here, or aliens coming over here undocumented, and we have a president who don't care. We have a vice president who hasn't been down there to even see the border since she's been in office. I don't think we have a border crisis because the border crisis was being handled. Now I think we have a careless president who just wants everything to go a certain way because he's trying to appease everybody. Let's move on to the next topic since we're talking about that. California and the reparations. And I put WTL because what the fuck is that?
Okay, good. Because when I saw this yesterday, I'm like, is this a joke? Like, are you trying to like trying to mess with me or something? I love your wife. I was like, what the hell is this?
Listen,
I had to watch it twice.
It's so crazy out here. It's so damn crazy out here. California reparation package moves forward. A California panel approved the reparation package this weekend that could result in the state paying out more than $500 billion to Black residents. Economists estimate California has been weighing how to make financial amends for the racist policies that have harmed Black residents, such as redlining by banks that block them from getting mortgages under this preliminary plan, which could then need to be enacted by lawmakers. Eligible Black residents could receive up to $148,099. Listen to what I'm saying when I say this, Danny. I am considered a Black man, and I say this every time I'm on this podcast. I'm considered a Black man because of quote unquote my pigmentation, right? What I am first, and I tell people this all the time, I am an American. My grandmother was a white lady. My father was a mix. My father was mixed. He was white, Black, he was mixed. He was biracial, I don't just have African American blood in my body. I don't just have, what is considered Black culture or race in my body. I'm not just a breed of a Black person is what considered to be a whole different species here on the planet. I am an American. We're the only people who uses color to distinguish who is who. Only people. America. Everybody else, Puerto Ricans are Puerto Ricans because they in Puerto Rico. Nationality. Cubans aren't Black or white. They're Cuban. We don't, Hispanics aren't Black Hispanics or white Hispanics. They're just Hispanics. We're the only people who uses the color to stigmatize what our structure here represents. I am not quote unquote a Black man, and I don't know how you feel, but you're not a white person. You are an American. That's how I look at it. All of this separation through color just keeps more redlining going. If that's what we're considering redlining, it's saying, hey, you can't live over here because you're Black. You can't live over here because you're Asian. Were you born here? Do you pay your taxes here? You're an American. All of this black white stuff keeps the separation going. And I'm not saying my generation is going to change that. I'm not saying me being on this podcast saying, hey, you can consider me a black person, but in deep inside, I mean, what is that? What is that? What is it to be a white person? What is it to be a person of color, POC? What does that mean? A person of color? Everybody's of a color. In that case, you're colored. You're a white guy, right?
Yeah.
White is a color. So I'm just saying, what is a POC? What is a black person? No, why can't we just be people who are American people? You know, all of this color shit just keeps the illusion going.
James, down there, governor, like they brought a whole panel together to discuss this conversation, did they not? Like, is that in California? They had like all the senators and everybody inside there talking about this and going back and forth and listening to people speak. And I was amazed. I was like, you're asking for a crazy number, but something that happened back in the 1800s. Like now everybody now here has to pay. Like, wow.
How does that make sense? Like, and again, right now our debt.
I listened to it. I watched it twice because I was like, is this a joke?
No,
like I was waiting for you or your wife to send me a laughing emoji or something. No, like, hey, you just wasted 30 minutes of your life. You know what I'm saying?
And let's put it in this perspective as well. Let's say that California does pass this law, right? Let's say they do pass this law. And they give everybody $148,000 in California. That's enough to buy toilet paper and dishwashing liquid in California. Like, what the hell is $150,000 going to do for you? So once you get paid this money, just remember, you can no longer use this as a crutch to say you didn't get or you deserve this and this and that. You can no longer use that as a crutch because, again, Dolores brought this up a minute ago, and I want to just go back here real quick. Dolores brought up the fact, she said, there are so many government assistance that would help people get places, some jobs, some good jobs, etc. But they don't want them. A lot of the people like to be what is called cell free. Is that what I'm assuming I'm understanding what you're saying? But just on the basis of what she was stating, government assistance has already reached and helped us reach a debt ceiling that we have to keep pushing. We have to keep pushing this damn debt.
We're at 31 trillion or something like that right now.
With shit like this,
the number just keeps going, man. It
just keeps going up. Because I mean, how does this make sense for us to give away more money when if black people look at it this way? Black people, quote unquote, have received more assistance than a little bit. They get look at all the grants you can get for going to school for being a minority. Look at all the government self-employed benefits you can get for being a minority. Look how many benefits you get from being a minority just because you are saying you're black. You can go to banks and get loans with like low interest rates or no interest rates. You can get grants to go to schools. Now, show me how many white people can get a grant for being white to go to a school. Like, is there a grant out there for white people to say, hey, I'm white. Do I get a grant for being white and I can get to go to school for free? Like, where's these programs? Like, you talking about racism and we're building our conversation off of racism.
So they don't just give grants to like U.S. just regular U.S. citizens, right? They've got to label it a certain color or something like that.
Something has to be labeled to separate you from the rest of our American society to say that you are eligible for something as such. This California reparation shit is just going to open up a door for everybody to say, I want my 40 acres in a fucking mural. Listen, you've received it multiple times over. You know, you've been rewarded so many times over. We are in a land of opportunity where now, okay, let's say 1960s, we did go through the whole segregation, integration shit. If you wanted what you wanted in America, why even integrate? Why even integrate? Why not stay separated? Why not stay segregated and let quote unquote the white man have his businesses and you have yours? Because now I think it's racist for black people to say, well, this is a black-owned business and we only hire black people. What the fuck is that?
That's kind of like that. What was it? The baker, whatever, that didn't want to hire anyone that, what was transitioning or whatever it is. Like, let people just be happy, man. Stop looking at it as a color. We're all US, we're all citizens. We all bleed the same damn color, and we need to get along a hell of a lot better.
I mean, I think the way things are going, man, we're going to see a race war. We're going to see a gun war. We're going to see a political war. There's going to be so
race,
many
gun, political war. Shit, James.
Bro, we're going to be in it's going to be so many.
It's time to prepare for a big change.
That's what I'm saying. A big change is going to fucking happen, but we not quite sure exactly what that change is going to be because there's so much going on right now. It's like, it almost comes down to, where do you fit in? Where do you fit in this conversation? Like, if you don't fit in here, you're going to be excluded here. If you don't fit in here, you're going to be excluded there. Okay, I'm gonna ask you a question real quick, Daniel. And again, you can feel free to answer it if you feel like it's just too rampant and it's not going to. Feel free not to answer. But I asked this question to someone the other day. All right, you're in a room. You're in a room with two groups. All right, you're in a room with two groups. You can't leave the room, but you have to make a choice. What is your decision?
I'm in a room.
You're in a room with two groups. All right?
Yep.
You can't leave. But you have to make a choice. What do you choose?
Damn, James, you could have given me a little time to think about this one. All right. I don't really know here. I'm gonna grab a chair and I'm gonna try to bring the two groups together.
Thank you.
Get on common ground.
Listen, thank you. There's nothing more to say to that, because if the more you go into detail, you're looking for a group to fit into. You're looking for a group to find identical parts that you can identify with. We are living in a world where there's multiple groups and everybody's looking for the identifying factors to be a part of. It's no different than a game, right? Okay, I identify with this side or I identify this side, versus just being objective or just standing out to the side, seeing everything that's happening and figuring out how to bring both groups together. Because if you would have went and said, well, listen, if this group is winning, then I'm going to join the winning group, which then kind of, or if this group is da-da-da-da. It's always trying to build something out of nothing. And we're constantly doing that by trying to use different little factors to figure out how do we identify with group A or group B. And then however group A benefits me, I'm going with that group. However group B benefits me, I'm going with that group. We have to stop that in America. We have to stop trying to identify everything by our race, color, or class. That's my thing. We all are looking at everything from the wrong perspective.
I like it. Damn, you have got me sweating there for a minute, James.
But that just shows what kind of person a person is. Because again, if I have to start to identify the group I want to choose, well, listen, there's still a choice not to choose, right? There's still a choice not to choose. So great answer, man. The Lord said, because the poor white man will blow you up, accuse you of doing stuff you didn't do just to blow your whole city. I don't know about that one, Dolores. I don't know about that one. And anybody that knows me knows that I am American first. I agree. But being an American, just my perspective, is saying that we are all together in this war. And we shouldn't be each other enemies. We shouldn't be each other enemies. We shouldn't. Not here. We should get rid of that shit.
Right now, we should be uniting as one, right?
Yeah, I agree. We should be uniting as one. And some big stuff is happening. And everybody, we hope that you're prepared. Prepare yourself financially. Prepare yourself. Educate yourself. Get more knowledge on everything that you're working towards, working on. Just know that things are going to happen so fast. You may not have a chance to get a grip on the life that you think you want. So try to do whatever you can now to prepare yourself. And I don't know how crazy it's going to get. I can't even perceive how crazy it's going to get. Just know it's going to get crazy.
It's going to be insane the next 18 months.
18 months is going to be crazy.
Is it 18 months? No, it's not even that, right? Because it's November. So,
Yeah.
So it's like, 15, 16, 17 months, man. It's going to be crazy. Nothing's going to get done. So buckle up.
Buckle up. Other than that, if you don't have any more, nothing else to add, we're going to get up out of here. I think it was a great podcast. It was really,
Love it.
it was really informative. Just know there's a lot of shit going on, so prepare yourself. Other than that, y'all have a great one. Make sure you hit that like button, that subscribe button, and that notification bell. Drop a comment in the comment section after we get off this live, and we look forward to seeing you all Thursday. Other than that, have a great one.
See you.